The Game Awards for me has been one of the only gaming award show that is on mainstream that I take seriously because it actually tries to take games seriously. But unfortunately, even with amazing games being nominated this year, not everybody is satisfied with the nominations. But before we get into that, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe and watch another video. It tells the algorithm that you want other people to watch the video. Subscribe. It's completely free. Let's get into it. So the Xbox community is not happy for the fact that Nintendo and PlayStation are dominating the awards this year, with Nintendo with 15 and PlayStation with 13, and also Epic Games with 8 and Xbox only having 8, and not one of their games has been awarded for Game of the Year, with each one of the publishers that I named besides Xbox has been nominated for a Game of the Year award and not Xbox. It makes you wonder if there is an actual bias against Xbox, but it's difficult to see if there's any bias at all when there's 120 journalists that are picked across the industry of gaming to award these games in each category. And when you start digging a little deeper into what the Xbox community is complaining about, it's not that there isn't enough gaming journalists across the board. It's the fact that there is a conspiracy theory that the entire gaming journalist industry is biased against Xbox. And let me explain what the other side thoughts.
Wow, I can't believe a lot of those other great games got snubbed too. But like you said, and fanboy or not, but literally Spider-Man Game of
He's
the
in
Year.
almost every category.
Are you effing kidding me?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Absolutely bought and paid for. That's all you can say about it. Keely's is definitely it's truly a disgrace that one would get even nominated at all. But watch it probably end up winning. Who knows? Depends how much Sony wants to throw at them. You know.
So there's something that's trending right now on Twitter called an Xbox tax. And what an Xbox tax is for example, when Xbox bought Bethesda and Starfield came out, before Xbox bought Bethesda, Starfield was seen as a game that was going to be really, really good. But when Bethesda released that game after Xbox Studios purchased that game, it was completely trashed on. And the reality is that after what we've been through the past 3 to 4 years of broken, glitchy, really incomplete games coming out, Bethesda really isn't given the leeway that it used to be given because of the fact that they have really good stories and immersive worlds regardless of the glitches that are going on. In my opinion, if Skyrim were to come out today in the state that I played it when it first came out, without any mods, without any of the remasters, it would have been torn to shreds because gamers aren't really taking that kind of thing anymore. The truth of the matter is that the Xbox community, and let's be real, Xbox fanboys do not hold Xbox accountable for the things that they've been doing recently. They've instead been encouraging them to buy more and more publishers, which, to be honest with you, based. They did need the publishers, they did need the studios, because honestly, I did not see them having the management skills to be able to build their own studios or to buy small studios and build them up to be big studios that do great. The truth is, Xbox isn't interested in making AAA games anymore that win these kinds of awards. They're interested in selling Game Pass subscriptions. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. But the truth of the matter is that the Xbox community wanted Xbox to make better games. They should hold them accountable to do so. Instead of only concentrating on Game Pass and on buying publishers, they should encourage them to make better games. Because the truth of the matter is that they could have delayed Starfield, they could have delayed Redfall, and they could have delayed Halo even further to be able to meet the demand that those games were trying to do. And the truth is, the developers of Redfall wanted to cancel that game because of how bad it was. But because of the fact that Xbox is focused on Game Pass, and which again, I don't blame them, they wanted to release the game as soon as possible and didn't care what state that game was coming out in. And if you listen to the things that Phil Spencer has been saying about Xbox, I know people are going to call me a fanboy for saying this, and I don't really care. It kind of seems like they're shifting towards a third-party kind of interest in making games to where they sell subscriptions and they eventually have subscriptions of Game Pass on PlayStation, Nintendo, and every single platform and make their money like that from gaming. Because if you look at his comments,
is that everybody who's on console has to feel like they have a great experience and they're a first-class citizen. They've invested a ton in our platform. But we are not in a position, and I see it out there. I see commentary that if you just build great games, everything would turn around. It's just not true that if we go off and build great games, all of a sudden you're going to see console share shift in some dramatic way. We lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library of games. So when you go and you're building on Xbox, we want our Xbox community to feel awesome. But this idea that if we just focused more on great games on our console, that somehow we're going to win the console race, I think doesn't really lay into the reality of most people. Like 90% of the people every year who walk into a retailer to buy a console are already a member of one of the three ecosystems, and their digital library is there. This is the first generation where the big games that they're playing were games that were available last gen. When you think about Fortnite and Roblox and Minecraft, like the continuity from generation to generation is so strong. I see a lot of pundits out there that kind of want to go back to the time where we all had cartridges and discs, and every new generation was a clean slate, and you could switch the whole console share. That's just not the world that we are in today. There is no world where Starfield's an 11 out of 10 and people start selling their PS5s. That's not going to happen. So what we have to do, and we have this unique vision because we see what creators want to do. Creators want to build games that can meet players on any screen. People play with their friends regardless of what other screen they're on. And the console is the core of the Xbox brand. There's no doubt. So like we will stay focused on making sure that console experience is awesome. But I know some people want to hold us up of just being a better green version of what the blue guys do. And I'm just going to say, like, there's not a win for Xbox in staying in the wake of somebody else. We have to go off and do our own thing with Game Pass, with the stuff we do with xCloud, and the way we build our games. Sorry.
It doesn't really seem like he's interested in making AAA games anymore, and it doesn't seem like he believes that AAA games will save Xbox and can make them a brand that everybody loves and respects, when in reality, Nintendo saved the entire industry by making quality games and quality consoles that saved the entire industry. And people quickly forget that the PlayStation 3 literally almost killed Sony and PlayStation together, but because they made new IPs, they made games that people wanted, and they continued to push consoles that were good for developers and were good for gamers in terms of price and development time and management. It brought PlayStation from almost dying to being the leader in consoles that it is now. And it's kind of sad because I really want Xbox to compete with PlayStation when it comes to AAA gaming, but as you can see from the comments from Phil Spencer, he doesn't believe that that kind of thing is a thing that's going to save Xbox or is a model that they should undertake. They're instead buying publishers that are going to bolster the sales of Game Pass and bolster the catalog of Game Pass and have those IPs there for the future. Call of Duty, Skyrim, etc., etc., etc. are all going to bolster Game Pass and make you buy it even more. But the reality is that Phil Spencer and Xbox are not interested in making AAA games anymore. They're interested in selling you Game Pass. And that's something that you encourage and that you continue to encourage instead of using your complaint and conspiracy theories to actually criticize Xbox. You instead blame it on the entire industry being biased against Xbox, which is, to be honest with you, a little sad. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And remember, you are pretty good.